That was awesome. What do we do when we need to focus? Is everybody focused right now? Yep. Let's give him another hand clap for that. That's
amazing. Story. Right. I'm really excited about our next guest. She's like mama to me. Yeah. So I've done a show with her before, and I do a show currently with her son. This is a powerhouse woman that has wisdom that she's going to spit out of her mouth for us today. So if you all would welcome Stephanie Hockenhall, I would really appreciate it.
Come on, Queen, let's do it.
Come on, Mama.
Come on, Queen Mama, she got it. Let's do it. Yes, ma'am. Get it to them.
Hey, everybody. I am happy to be here. I am focusing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I see you. I see you. I see you. Today, I am here to talk about broken pieces. I'm focusing on what should be and could be beneficial for me, you, and you. You see, we should all be creating a peaceful environment of love around ourselves. What is it about you that draws you to me? I need you have a piece about you that makes me want to learn more about you. I need some of that. Show me the way. Come with me and I'll show you how to start putting the broken pieces together again. You see, I was broken in many pieces. I started to feel like Humpty Dumpty when he fell off the wall. The part of him that I'm referring to is when they couldn't put him back together again because the pieces were all scattered again, broken. Yes, that was me, broken. Although many pieces of me have been put together, there are so many broken pieces left. But believe me, I will receive what is best for me and my growth. This growth will help me, you, and others excel, to excel in life above and beyond our wildest dreams. After experiencing bullying for many years and being a bully too, yes, I was a bully too, I had to first realize that it was possible as an adult to experience bullying. Bullying is unwanted, controlling, forceful behavior towards others that involves a real or perceived power imbalance. Can y'all hear me in the back?
Come on, I need to get a rap on mine.
Bullying behaviors do not happen, they do happen repeatedly in all age ranges, starting as toddlers when they're pushing, biting, and kicking each other. Bullying is also seeking to harm, intimidate, or coerce someone perceived as vulnerable. I had to learn there was a way to pick up these broken pieces. I have had to learn that the feeling of inferiority, hopelessness, and helplessness, along with self bullying and self sabotaging, could only continue to take up residence in my life if I allowed it. I could also choose to evict what was happening from my mind. Eleanor Roosevelt said, "No one can make you feel inferior without your consent." I chose to serve the eviction notice on my own thoughts and beliefs because they were not serving me well. My mom raised myself and two boys most of our lives by herself. I am the oldest, struggling with a childhood where love was seldom expressed, either physically or verbally, led to toxic relationships for me, led to workplace bullying, and concluded with 3 bad job experiences in a row. I'll tell you more about that in a little bit, but first let me share this. My mom's side, on my mom's side, they experienced hatred. There was generations of hatred, starting with my great-great-grandfather who raped his slave, and there was a son that came out of that relationship. Well, that son, who ended up being my great-grandfather, hated his dad. He wanted nothing to do with him. So you hear the hatred on my mom's side for generations. My dad, his dad, took him out of school. There was 15 kids. He wasn't the oldest or the youngest, but somewhere in the middle. His dad took him out of school, and he didn't get to finish school. So he does not know how to read. So he hates his dad. He still talks about it. And then for me, I just gave you the two generational sides. For me, I cried a lot, desiring to be loved. And back then, in that generation when I was born, they were told, my mom was 16, and she was told, lay the baby down, feed them, change their diaper, don't hold them, you'll spoil them. So I was laid to cry a lot. That crying continued throughout my life. I didn't know how to deal with things except for crying. I wanted to be different, but I didn't know how to be. So that's a little bit about me. So my love language is physical touch.
Me too.
So I ended up in a lot of toxic relationships, 3 bad job experiences in a row, which was my wake-up call. I was fired. Then I took on a job with a friend, and they gave me a temporary position until they created the position they hired me for. That took too long, so I quit. Then I was fired from a job after that, and that's when I was like, what in the heck is going on? And I just prayed and said, Lord, what is this about? What are you speaking to me? Why am I having these bad job experiences? So I was watching a viral video of a child being bullied, and that sparked an epiphany for me. I was a victim of adult bullying. We always hear about children being bullied, but I learned at that time that as an adult, that's what I experienced in the workplace mostly, but in relationships as well. It was time to do something about this. I had to learn how to address the pain, the hurt, the brokenness, and the hatred for all that I've seen, learned, and experienced. The cycle had to be broken. I was the one chosen to break the cycle. I remember I told you that there were generations of created hatred. So again, I was the one chosen to not only be broken, but to understand why. I had to understand how to break the generational hatred, because that's what it was on both sides. We have the power to change our lives by making a choice. Albert Einstein said, you can't solve a problem on the same level of consciousness that it was created on. So I had to learn how to break that cycle. So this, to me, meant going beyond my understanding and seeking a higher power than I. I chose God to learn from him and his Holy Spirit to teach me how to love myself and others. I didn't know how to love me. We can continue to believe what we've always believed and what the generations before us believed and remain stagnant. We can choose to agree with God and put the pieces back together and grow and learn to love ourselves and others. We can also have that peace beyond our understanding. Martin Luther King said, in the end, we will remember not the words of our enemies, but the silence of our friends. Maya Angelou said, forgive yourself for not knowing what you didn't know before you learned it. Do the best you can until you know better, then you do better. So, I told you about my love language and the toxic relationships, the bad experiences, my relationship with God. That's what changed my life. Seeking better and more for myself and trying to understand what the heck was going on. Why are all these broken pieces happening in my life? And so I understand now that in order for me to have a better life, I have to turn to the higher power, God, to hear from him, to learn how to deal with issues. Because I didn't know how to deal with issues. So I cried a lot growing up. Even as an adult, my kids grew up watching me cry. And they did not want to repeat that cycle. What's wrong with mom? Why is she crying so much because I didn't know how to use my voice. I didn't have the courage to speak up and use my voice. I've learned how now I gain courage through constantly using affirmations and speaking to myself. You are better than they say you are. You are not who they say you are. You can do this. You can choose better for yourself. You can love others. You can love yourself. I didn't even know what the heck that means. So I had a boyfriend one time that told me, you want me to tell you I love you all the time, but I show you. You just want to hear me say it to you all the time. And then he said, I said, how do you love yourself? And he said, I don't know. Well, that didn't help me. But as a result of that and the things that I experienced, I've created a nonprofit organization, and the name of it is Love Misunderstood Institute, so that I can share with people and give people hope and encouragement. You don't have to experience bullying. You don't have to allow people to treat you bad in order to have friends or family or whatever. Learn how to love yourself.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, learn how to love yourself. Accept you in you, right? Yes. That is amazing. And we have to go through trials and tribulations to even find ourselves. Right. When you break down, you actually unbury the next version. That is the next step. That's how we do that. You can't, if you have never been through nothing, nobody's going to listen to you talk about nothing. You have to, your been through is how you get through. Okay? Our next speaker. Yes.
I guess I got to add to that, though.
What's that?
I'm learning, because my journey is similar to hers. Okay, the journey of a warrior. But I'm learning I've got to die.
Absolutely.
In order to live.
Yes.
I mean,
and nobody likes going to funerals, but yet you have to attend every version of yourself and the death of each one.
I'm just thinking about all the things that she said, and all the things that I've experienced, and I know all of you have experienced. And I had to die. That version of Gary had to die. That version of Coach G had to die so that this version of Gary or Coach G could live. So
absolutely.
The courage that it's taken Stephanie and really all of our speakers today to get on the stage and be vulnerable and share their stories. But we got to see the dying version, hear the dying version. You got to witness that version that is alive today, that's growing, that's thriving, that phoenix. You got to see that version of them today. So, absolutely. I don't know. I'm just jacked. That's exciting. So.
It is amazing to watch people rise and to be there to encourage their lifting up. Our next speaker, Miss Kimberly, is